want to welcome all one more time here on your program, Sankofa, with your wonderful, wonderful guests that we have for you today. We are flying with the greater culture of Ndebele, because them are Ndebele, but they like to put their R's in midst of all these L's, Ndebele. And just to get us started on the whole show, we'll throw it over to her to introduce us as to what is this whole culture all about, and I'll give my honorable friend here, Bakubisa Bari, by the way. Bakubisa Basitsana. She want to pop in and check out what we are doing here in Sankofa also. Give her some time. Over to you, madam.
Hello, Shava Seketu, Shava Sendrenzima, Lami, Lama Bizos Savele, Gibuhle, Ubafunani, Wawa Masango, Gumrazana, Gewa Tataiha Bino Matalanyana, Wategeleza, Walandrela Umtumo, Embalambala, Kanapu. Tagajagazana Gamawela, Wendoni. Gimme Hoa Yoksholwa, Gachogiti, Inkomos Gababa, Zisapelele. Minage, Givela Pasi, Kwamshanga, Kwandevele. Yeke Tuga Masango, Gatumako, Hu Masango, Gumkhali, Li Pondrelbovu, Gelawa Tumako. Mhla Shavile nali shavilego lishava humsila lishava ismata lishava humnyonyo shava seketu habakhali habaqedo ngiyathokoza.
Wow. Can you try that?
That is putting me on the spot, Baba, but wow, I'm in awe. Like, wow, that is amazing.
How can that be putting you on the spot? You can't even try one. You are Basitsana who?
I will try le
Basitsana who?
Mina ngubasitsana wakapura maswane marulela kanama. Gape rona ha pula ina. Ha re kenye roof re kenya nama re ikokotele nama fetsa re je.
Yes.
Ewa. Basitsana is saying when it is raining, apparently they don't cover their roofs. They take stripes of meat.
Yes.
And they close up the roof. That's how rich they are. They're only celebrating they've got enough cows to block the rain. Over to you, Basitsana. You wanted to harass me a bit on my show.
Yes.
Okay.
I think before that, let me greet the viewers of Galaxy Universal Network as well as the viewers of Sankofa. Welcome and thank you, Lochani. In actual fact, the reason why I wanted to engage with you tonight is because tomorrow we're celebrating Heritage Day. And I wanted to engage you in a point of a youth. As much as I'm also young, and we have here Usisi who's also young, and we will be able to discuss this in looking at it in the eyes of Umtomusha in the country. Why is it important for us to celebrate our heritage, our cultures, not only tomorrow, Day 24 Zaga September, but through 365 days of the year?
Firstly, I don't respond kindly to holidays that are designed by colonialists on how black people must celebrate their culture. In as much as we have the Black History Month or the Heritage Month, as we call it in the South. In Europe they call it the Black History Month.
Yes.
I get very weary when we have a Black History Month and we don't have a Wise History Month. Because apparently our 1 month of holiday is equivalent to their 11 months of dominance.
Oh.
So there's no way black people can celebrate 1 month in a year when Europeans are celebrating 11 months in a year. So we need also to isolate 1 month for white people. That's when we can do their culture.
Yes.
And then for the other 11 months, Africans must be free to become Africans. So firstly, what does Black History Month? It only means that we've been given half a cake, half of the slice of bread. Half a loaf is not better than nothing when you can have a whole loaf.
Yes.
So we want the Heritage Month to become part of our lives, not part of a European calendar.
For 365 days.
Like that.
And like I mentioned, I enjoy the fact that you have a young woman here who is stellar when it comes to her own culture. So I'd like to engage with her as well. How important is it for you as a young woman to have known about your culture and uyoze uphinde ukhule kuze kube nini ulibele uyiqinile iculture yakho?
Ngithokoze mombuzo wakho mhle. Mina ke ngizophendula ngalendlela wakhumbuzo. Isikhethu kuyinto ebaluleke khulu kimi. Ngingatsho ngithi kuligugu. Ngombana nginje
yes
iye nginje ngingenele indoni. Ngimntazana endoni. Ngiyimbongi. Indanga zami abasi babantu abangangenela indoni babuye godi baphile isikhethu ba research kabanzi ngesikhethu bafunisise ngesikhethu namakhosi ekhethu nesikopilo lakade. So ukwazi isikhethu kuyinto ebalekile ukuze uzazi ukuthi ubuyaphi la uzazi nokuthi uyaphi. Ukugcina indlela abogogo nabomkhulu ebebenza ngaye kadeni singekho.
I mean, how can you not want to know your heritage when such a young woman says it that well, Baba?
I've said this once, I'll say it twice. Because many of our old people have run away from culture. It looks like the spirit has jumped them. And there's a new sage of young people who are beginning to wake up to African awareness.
Yes.
You may be shocked that maybe her mother or her father are pastors and they're in church and they are, all of them are there. But somehow the spirit has just like jumped over the old people. Many of them are in shabins right now, drinking and doing everything. They are no longer there as pillars of the community. And when the spirit default jumps over them to begin to talk to the young people, it should only say some adults in the community have deserted their positions of responsibility.
Wow, amazing. And lastly, so that I can leave you to continue.
Where are you going?
I am going to go and put what you teach us into motion. We're looking at the society that we live in. There are so many churches within our communities. And then we look at resource centers and art facilities which would help facilitate the young youth to know their culture, to practice song and dance from their cultures. Those aren't as dominant as other facilities, other religious or belief facilities are in communities. How important is it for us to step up and stand out and say, we're going to fight to keep our culture alive through these facilities?
I think the first thing that we needed to actually deconstruct is the issue that African culture is only deemed as a form of entertainment. It is a cosmetic. So the minister is coming to Venda. The only time culture is spoken about is, okay, let them come and do a poem and dance.
Yes.
And after that, please go back. The minister must now do whatever he must do.
On one day.
So culture has never become like the central part of the conversation.
Yes.
Even in the midst of it appearing on news or on TV, it is always on the side of the peripheral. You understand me very well? It is not the critical thing that we must actually discuss in terms of, okay, stand up young lady, to begin to say, now, what is this?
Yes.
Kuluma this. What does it represent? The young ladies before we have started sleeping with men.
Yes.
So when you see a young lady like this with this square thing on her thing, this is no-go area.
Yes.
This girl has not yet been messed up.
Yes.
She's clean. This is culture now.
Yes.
So, and this? Meaning?
Zona seziyambathwa namgathola sezimbathwa azina meaning.
Turn around a bit without yes, I love this.
Kumadalanyana ke lo. Iye nayo ngovunulwa matlawana.
This is also is a skirt. It covers the important but reveals the appetizing so that you don't have to lose your concentration. But look at that. This is the so when I'm talking about African culture, instead of us maybe beginning to say, how do we convert this into a teaching platform?
Yes.
What does this represent? The unity of the community.
Yes.
That she's not just here as a woman, but through her loins, the entire community is actually connected. To her. But only as long as she keeps her purity. So the fashion itself begins. You can talk about gender-based violence and other things and say, for a young man, when you see a Ndebele girl dressed up like this, it means a no-go area.
Yes.
Because these protects the father's cows.
Yes.
These are the inkomos gababales.
Yes, inkomos gababales.
Yes.
So if you ask me about African culture, even our ministers, our religious leaders and community leaders have not given culture the correct seat that it deserves in the economic, in the religious, in the spiritual conversation. We only call them ministers say angena manje kutu. And you wonder until we begin to respect ourselves, like white people can convert Easter from an Easter holiday, which is pagan, to bunny chows, to rolls, to celebration, and convert that into money, convert that into religion, in Mashaya, the 7 words of Jesus, in my shopping, Mashaya, my hot cross buns, and the whole thing is well thought through to an extent that it's not just celebrating culture, it's spending culture, it's economics of culture, politics of culture. It's a holiday which even affects the national calendar. So until Africans come to that extent where our holidays are not just cosmetic, but they have that depth. To reach people who remain as footnotes.
I love how you made mention of how economics is used within our culture. Looking at the Ndebele, it's in Ndebele culture.
Colorful.
Yes, and they are now known throughout the world through economics. But what does that really then do for the community of Amandebele within our country?
Firstly, I think it has to do with Amandebele pattern. And but you didn't comment on your hat.
Yes. Oh, I'd just like to say that this is specially made for me.
These hats are actually designed by our young people from Ndebele, and they gave us some beautiful hats here. They will be coming in just after this show to take us through. But the commercialization of our culture means that we're able, for example, I would not consider an African high school in Ndebele, which will allow young girls to go to school without this. For argument's sake. Over and above the uniform you're talking about. But to a Ndebele young boy, to a Ndebele young girl, this is much more meaning in terms of first point of contact. So that if you should find yourself ripping a girl out of this beautiful, would it be Saustini? You as a man, with your sex appetite in the sky, you find a young girl with this hobby, you pick up this hobby, you rip it upside and you throw it away, and you rape this girl, you must know you are violating the entire cultural structure. And sending that message across in terms of commercializing that. I'm not talking just about making clothes, but sending that critical information so that the young boys and girls can know the virtues of culture.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much for offering me the time on Sankofa.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
To the viewers of Galaxy Universal Network.
Let me have the 2 other guests come in quickly who can take us through. Don't go away. We'll be back just after the break as we look at the 2 young people from Ndebele who will be taking us through the art and culture and crafts of the Greater Ndebele. And just before we close the show, we'll have a chance of talking to the prince and the royalties that are also in the house representing the greater culture of Ndebele. Ponga J, live on Sankofa.
Hello. The 4th industrial technology era has forcefully changed how every profession has been working for its clients. The world has become smaller than what we used to think. Imagine the ease of talking to a person who is in Australia, China, or Germany while you are in South Africa, as if you're just next door. The ease that globalization and the 4th industrial technology have brought to humanity entail doing business anywhere in the world as long as you have the purpose and the means. It is our expertise as MB Chabangu Incorporated to advise clients immigrating to South Africa on various permits and on opportunities for travelers who intend to sojourn in South Africa for a longer period of time.
Ayé náà ti kéré ju èyí tí a rò lọ nítorí náà ìmọ̀ wa ní ìsìlọ àti òfin àgbáyé ṣe wá ní ọ́fíìsì àkókò lórí àwọn ìṣòwò ilé àti ìgbaniláyé láti gba ìwé ìrìnnà fún iṣẹ́ okòwò.
Ho MB Chabangu Incorporated re ba eletse dinotari le basebedisi le di-office tša rena kua Pretoria, Johannesburg le Bloemfontein. MB Chabangu Incorporated e humanega ga bonolo go bareki ba rena. Go humana tlhagiso leseding ka botlalo re kgopela le re leletše mogala go 012 341 4187 goba le re ngwalele lengwalo tsebile go admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, mo mathata a humanago tharollo.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in 4th Industrial Revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Feel the heat.
You said you love me. I do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Leave Balsan. Oh no, you don't! Get out of my way! Get out!
That is an abomination. Oh, the love you promised me.
Do you have a boyfriend? Yeah?
Feel the excitement.
You don't know how I've been longing for this.
Feel the heat with Starsat.
China's saying that the latest outbreak is under control.
Feel the heat.
The cabinet has decided to ease restrictions on certain other economic activities.
I don't want to be a white person who sits by and does nothing, so that's why I'm here today.
Feel the excitement.
We are here to unite, because what we are fighting for is to stop institutional racism.
Feel the heat with Star.
Mahlangu. Welcome one, welcome all again here on your wonderful program, Sankofa, with me again, Thando Mahlangu, Udade wetu Masango. We're here today discussing the greater expanse of the Ndebele culture. So maybe let me start off with the young man here. Can you stand up a little bit and take us through what some of this beautiful dressing that we said? Yeah. What is this?
Yabona lesi sikholane lesi.
Sikholane.
Ekhabula khona sikhamba zimbili.
The two of them.
Yes. Manje nginomngane nami engibereka naye engivunula naye. Manje sasihlukanisela ngoba nathi singahlukani.
Okay.
So ekhabula khona kuba nojuba, kuba nobukho. So zimbathwa masokana nawabuye
when you are coming from the mountains, yes, then you must put on, and you can see it's full of experience. Yeah, yes, it has been there.
Unochukelana na nje
unochukelana ukuthi ni
kuchukuthi ingadiwe yasinyerwa ngechukela.
Okay.
Yeah,
it makes you a sweet boy.
Yeah, yenza njalo enenzela ukuthi ingahlukani.
Okay.
Yayibona. So and then bese le yizwide.
Izwide again. Yeah, another name for it?
Sikhethu.
Is Khethu.
Yes.
But Izwide. So this is so guys, you must learn something for free. This time I'm doing it myself because you guys are scared of doing this thing. Yeah. People think that the Europeans came to Africa and taught us how to make underwear.
Aha.
Okay? They said we found Africans walking around, they had no underwear. They were just walking somehow. Now there you have it in the Ndebele culture. And underwear for the Ndebele, the same underwear you also find amongst the Tswanas. You also find the same underwear amongst the Pedis and etc.
Yes,
and even in the Swazis, they will not have something like this, but which is actually something they put inside.
Isikholanis. Ngiso esihlukanisako hlangana nemhlobo le yonke.
Okay.
Amapedi.
Pedis.
Amazulu.
Zulus.
Amaswati.
Yes.
Namatswana. Because amatswana awasimbathi isikholana.
Okay, the Tswanas don't use. The Tswanas don't use, they just can't go for this only. Yes, for the boys.
Injalo.
Wow.
Bese sikhamba ngenyawo.
Okay.
Yabona.
The original.
Yeah.
We call this GP10. Yeah, showed the 10 toes on the ground. Yes. Number plate yakona ke. But GP10.
Bese lengimbethe lapha yikumbers.
Ikumbers.
Ngunokhethwa.
Nami mangifaka ukumbers.
Dano phele. Uvule yonke imba.
The big ring on your neck.
Isikholwane sentanyeni. Sinengikholwane ezinganatayi lesibiza itayi.
Okay.
Intayi eziyahluka kunetayi efitshani kunetayi ede.
Okay.
Iye.
Sikholwane.
Iye, sikholwane sentanyeni. Iye.
Put it around the neck. What does it represent?
Kuhlobisa.
Kuhlobisa. And the words are very colorful. And on your hands, some of them put them on the neck also.
Iye le itzila.
Itzila.
Iye, itzila. Kuhle ibizwa ukuthi i-ring yamaNdebele.
I-ring.
I-ring yamaNdebele.
That's for married women, single women, or old women?
Kuhle ngiyabachadileko.
When you are married, then you see them with that. And the one they put on the neck?
Yeah.
Those are...
Iye na zakhambelana zombili.
Okay. That's for married women also.
Iye.
Wow, and I love your blanket.
Ngiyathokoza
I see
wena.
these are the normal colors for the Ndebeles, which is the brown, the yellow, the blue, and the red.
Yes.
What significance do these colors have in your tribe?
Ekhabula khona imbala le ijamele ukubambana nokubumbana. Ngendlela kungakhona ziveza umnotho. Ziveza ukuphalaka
wealth,
ziveza ukuzwana, ziveza ubuhlungu ubuhlungu esidlulekibo kuhle kuhle simandebele.
It's our history as Ndebele.
Then ziveza nokutshala.
Okay, our harvesting and planting and etc. Exactly. We don't want to lose time. Let me take me through the two books. They've done two beautiful books here, and I think they will be able to share their details at the bottom of the screen there. For some of you might want to read through some of the works that have been presented to me. I Know My Story. This one is written by who?
It's written by me, Thando Mahlangu.
Thando Mahlangu wrote a book entitled I Know My Story. It's available. If you want a copy, please get in touch with him on the number that is coming at the bottom of the screen there. Thando Mahlangu wrote a book entitled I Know My Story. And this one, The Pain of a Black Woman. You must write the next one also, the smiles and the joys of a black woman. No one will be talking about pain and problems. So, and I forgot to ask the thing on your head. What is that?
Konje.
Represent
umkhala. So ngohluleko lo.
Take us through a book. What did you write in this book?
Encwadini leyo ngibhale ngezinto ezimbi ezenzakalileko empilweni nami. Kodwana asizimbi kuphela. Zithi nazizimbi njalo kuba nesisombululo mahlangana ukuthi
she's discussing her problems and the challenges that she has faced and the solutions that she came up with.
Yes. Then angayitloli ngedwa kunabothirike kana basibanengi intori zethu zihlukahlukene.
It was a collection of various authors who came together to write this book, sharing your stories as Ndebele girls.
Thando Mahlangu.
I'm saying this is about Ndebele girls sharing their stories.
Yes.
The book is entitled The Pain of a Black Woman, written by Beauty Mdluli, Tsidikekana, Manganye, Loli, So Masombuka, Ukhili, Masuku, Thales, Banyoni, Masimula, Mabena, Mahlangu, Masango, Namtimunye. All of them somewhere there. I hope I mentioned all the names there. But quite a collection of beautiful ladies all the way from Ndebele who sat down to write up this book. Some of you might not know, Ndebele is about 60 or 80 kilometers away from Pretoria. Driving east, you're going to pass Ndebele, Mhlanga, Siabuswa, and that entire area right there. And we have the king and also the prince who are in the house who will take us through the greater history of the Ndebele nations. Take me through some of the artwork that you are doing, sir.
Oh, yes.
And by the way, this hat is a design from them. I got myself a hat. I got a gift of a beautiful Ndebele hat. I had a choice to make amongst all this. I opted for this one for the purposes of color and check me out. Take me through. What's the inspiration of making this beautiful hat?
The inspiration behind the whole Ndebele artwork, ukuthi emakhaya sikhule bagwala. And then when we grew up, we saw Dr. Esther Mahlangu doing it.
Okay.
And then
for the car, the BMW. Some of you might want to Google what Dr. Esther Mahlangu. She was conferred with a doctorate actually.
Exactly.
She has also worked on the BMW range of ethnic and cultural cars, where they gave her BMW and she designed or redesigned the entire dashboard of the car, which I now hear is worth millions. Exactly. And she put the Ndebele culture and paintwork into that. I saw the magazine actually in the airport somewhere. When I was flying out of the country, and I said, wow, Ndebele culture has become prominent now into cars now.
That's how powerful Ndebele is. So what we saw is that, Tina, we are the new generations. Currently, it's me, Ngobile Masuku, Skumbala Masango. We also have Usfiso Masango, and then we also have the others that are also Ndebele art painters. So now what we're doing since Sikwala Mabota. They
do graffiti, these guys. They do walls. If they find a naked wall there, you will find Ndebele art on it.
So we are specializing in this beautiful Ndebele art painted.
Take us through one of them. And just share with the people there what you did on this particular head.
Yabona le yenziwe ngobile Masuku.
Uyenzile akuyisho ke ngobile. Ubusenzani ke la?
La into le iphuma engqondweni nami for ngizoyenza namabala amanye engiwabonako kubogogo then mina ngiwabuye ngiwafake engwanini abanye bawenza ezambathweni ngiwafake engwanini then esimene bengijamekiswa nangenza ingwani le khangithabile.
You were happy?
Yes.
Okay, she was happy. She's the one who made this hat. So she's telling us that she was looking around the grandmothers, seeing what they're doing, and then she decided to take lots of that artwork and come up with a hat that actually has a representation of her environment. Yes.
Yeah, khangithabile because no wenza iart ama colors nendlela owenza ngayo ku representa ukuthi beyosesimene sinjani. So mina la isimo sami besithabe khulu fana nale ingwane eblue even nale ebrown isimo besisihle bekumnandi.
So you can tell if you are angry, if you are happy when you are doing your art. It must be
ziba dark ziyadima.
Okay, but when you are happy they are brighter.
Yes.
The villas are very bright and happy. Wow.
Exactly.
What are the totems of the Mahlangus? Let's start with you, Mahlangu. Zithini ithakazelo zakaMahlangu?
Kumahlangu magobholi isigobhe side sakono magenge ngumagobholi kamrhecha. Kumaswaphela kolduka, kumaswaphela konofanezile, kumaswaphele phoko, ubaba liphoko mina ngilidlaza.
Wow. And umasuku.
Umasuku imbongo zakhe zikhona kodwa sangizazi.
Betha sibembili zibe ntathu nje ha ungeke ubalibaleke.
Umasuku uphenyani.
Uphenyani. Okay. Wow, this is quite interesting.
You know, I just want to get to this. The very interesting part and the sad part about South Africa is that we don't celebrate our cultures enough. We don't celebrate our languages. We don't really appreciate things, you know. We let English to take over. So that's a sad part. That's why tomorrow we have a president that told us to dance for our Heritage Day, which is a very serious part. You know, so
dance.
That's
all.
Jerusalem dance.
Jerusalem dance.
I think, Mina, that's a problem.
That's the South African culture.
You see exactly now that just shows Guti they don't take our cultures into consideration because currently everyone who's doing culture, you cannot go to school wearing like this. You know, I was once train wearing like this.
They chased me away.
Yeah, they chased me away. They told me that I'm wearing inappropriately in South Africa, you know. So now that's the most painful part.
You were going into Gauteng.
Yes.
In South Africa.
Yes.
Because you were dressed up in your culture.
Yes.
You were told.
And then I was stopped by security guys and the whole management.
Dressed up inappropriately.
Yes. Exactly.
In South Africa.
In South Africa.
Dressed up like a South
You know,
like
exactly.
a Ndebele.
You know exactly. Now that's the most painful part.
I hope you are listening, you guys out there from Gauteng.
Yes.
Your report has been, it has arrived to my desk. Yeah. That you segregate people on the basis of culture. And if you are running Gauteng, which is in South Africa,
yes,
and you see someone dressed up in their indigenous African clothes, we're not asking for too much, just a little bit of respect.
Exactly.
Please learn to respect your own fellow Africans. We are in Africa here, we're not in Dublin, we're not in Stockholm, we're not in London, we're not in New York. We're in Tanzania, la, kusekaya la. And to tell the manager of Gauteng that here on Sankofa we have registered. We will try again to go through the process with cameras this time, and we'll see how they treat people. And these are some of the institutions that need to start turning. Because if Gauteng turns you away, the question is if you walk up to an office dressed up like this.
You know, exactly. Even the Minister of Arts and Culture, I think they have to take these whole things into consideration. They need to take our culture very seriously because currently they are not taking anything seriously. Because we have 11 official languages. Our televisions, it's full of 3 languages or 4. You know, what about this Ndebele? That's why currently we're fighting Guti. We need Ndebele on TV. On the 23rd of October, we're going to march to Union Building to deliver the memorandum to the president.
You also want your news channels.
Yes.
You also want your own.
Yes.
You must be included in.
You know, we want our actors to be there. We want to make money out of the things that we believe in. We want to make money out of our art. But currently, South Africa has closed all the doors for us.
You're cutting short.
Yes.
In the midst of us celebrating culture, there's also lots of problems around gender-based violence. young ladies and young women going through, and even young boys also going through vicious cycles in the hands of their women. But basically violence is rife in our country. What can you say to the South African and the greater African continent at large in terms of respect and people living together in harmony as a community?
Lamathomo ngizokuthoma ngeze culture. Sibabantu asifundiseni abantwana basesebancane imvelaphi yabo.
Let's teach the children their culture, where they're coming from.
Yes. Umntwana nomntwana akazi ilimi lekhabo.
Teach them their language.
Isikhuwa siza kuzange angitsho ukuthi singabi khona size kuzangemva umntwana akathi nakaye ebantwini okuhlangana nabanye abantu azibone azizwe nayo ukuthi okay nje ngihlangane nabantu enesinzima sonke ngingakhona ukukhuluma ilimi lekhaya.
We must emphasize the importance of teaching our children their mother tongues so that in the midst of their interactions they don't lose their identity.
Yes. Then gender based kuboma nabantwana ingiphatha kabuhlungu khulu leyo cause akwenzeki ngoba singaboni kwenzeka ngoba sibona umuntu uhlala ku abusive relationship abone ukuthi uya abuse kodwa angathathi istep angasukumi enze okurehe. Then kibo baba bakhona nabo baba bahlukumezwa abafazi bakhona abantwana
uyothini emaphoyiseni mawubethwa ngumfazi njengendoda kuyothiwani ngempela baqala bakuhleka amaphoyisa hawu evithi bakushayile
ene uyothola bambethe njalo bekangafuni ukuzibuyiselela unamandla ukuthi angambetha uma mara uziliselele ukuthi ambethe so that azokwazi ukuyoreport manje thina nakubethwe thina kulaba etakhona khulu kuba like
bangazi bashika haste labo ntshontsha imali ebhanka bagijimele ukuthi kube nenkinga umama nendoda baxabene bavula amehlo bahlahla amehlo kanje
manje bengithi mina kiboma nozibona man ukuthi la ukhona awukanzinzi or awukajabule.
In your own calling, when you are in the mountains, within exactly 30 seconds, what are the things you are taught in the mountain which end up causing some of the young boys from the mountain to start experimenting their tools on the young ladies, causing unnecessary pregnancies in the community? What are some of the dangers of the child training you receive in the mountain when it comes to implementing that knowledge system into the community?
Is that we should all the time respect the elders, the children, and the women. You know, that's the most important thing they are preaching. You must go back and respect and build going forward. So that's why Ndebele, I'm a gender-based violence. But people, once they start going to stay in town, that's where all the things start.
Ladies and gentlemen, here with me is Thando Mahlangu, not that the word Masuku, who have taken me through quite a bit of Ndebele culture here, lots of the artwork they've done and the books that they have done. After the break, we'll be having the king and the prince having a conversation on the greater history of the great Ndebele tribe. Don't go away, we'll be back right after the break.
Hello. The fourth industrial technology era has forcefully changed how every profession has been working for its clients. The world has become smaller than what we used to think. Imagine the ease of talking to a person who is in Australia, China, or Germany while you are in South Africa, as if you're just next door. The ease that globalization and the fourth industrial technology have brought to humanity entail doing business anywhere in the world as long as you have the purpose and the means. It is our expertise as MB Chabangu Incorporated to advise clients immigrating to South Africa on various permits and on opportunities for travelers who intend to sojourn in South Africa for a longer period of time.
Ṣé ayé náà ti kéré ju èyí tí a rò lọ nítorí náà ìmọ̀ wa ní ìsìlọ̀ àti òfin àgbáyé ṣe wá ní ọ́fíìsì àkókò lórí àwọn ìṣòwò ilé àti ìgbaniláyé láti gba ìwé ìrìnnà fún iṣẹ́ okòwò.
Ho MB Chabangu Incorporated re ba eletse dinotari le basebedisi le di-office tša rena kua Pretoria, Johannesburg le Bloemfontein. MB Chabangu Incorporated e humanega ga bonolo go bareki ba rena go humana tlhagiso leseding ka botlalo re kgopela le re leletše mogala go 012 341 4187 goba le re ngwalele lengwalo tsebile go admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, mo mathata a humanago tharollo.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in fourth industrial revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Feel the heat.
You said you love me. I do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, you don't! Get out of my way! Get out!
That is an abomination. Oh, the love you promised me.
Do you have a boyfriend? Yeah?
Feel the excitement.
You don't know how I've been longing for this.
Feel the heat with StarSat.
China saying that the latest outbreak is under control.
Feel the heat.
The cabinet has decided to ease restrictions on certain other economic activities.
I don't want to be a white person who sits by and does nothing, so that's why I'm here today.
Feel the excitement.
We are here to unite because what we are fighting for is to stop institutional racism.
Feel the heat with StarSat.
Maponga J live on your program here, Sankofa. Welcome back, welcome one, welcome all. With me is the princes, or I call them kings, or makosi, kwa Mhlanga, lapha kwa Ndebele, and isithakazelo nayituko zakubo ngoMahlangu. Akuyisho nontombi, akuyisho kancane nontombi.
Imbongo zakwamthabi. Tata ikomo yekhethu nasi yamafana komonengi singiba kumvunze emdlane emkhengete simafunana hatholane simathandana ngenjobo hlaku ngena njobo kumhleke kuliwa ohlanganisa wako makoro tata ikomo yekhethu nasi yakomgula nakomanyala kumgula nogundla gundla hingunako notshani simangomuthe neni baye bayisukela bathi ncinci iqalise umbombo komahlaze ligidigidi ngaramrago gatlhogo ya tlou liphuthuphuthu lisuka mini balakela umkhanyo kusamthabo wavela ngakwapondo amathanda kuphalala hathathi ihlangu hamphalalela kwaphalala amathanda kuphalala kwaphalala bogada lingevu ungevinga ikunze kutshe ngomlotha kwaye kwaphalala nencele likagajana nangu namhlanje kungasiye liqinele ngayikusuka nathole bathi qina vuka amavuko ubukhosi ubulawule ngobuqiqima hlungwana indlovu ngiyabetha uthango ngenzasi ezinye indlovu zilibetha ngehla sikhwenrehlungwana sako ndlovu sathatha umlilo sathatha amasekumba umbo sawuguduza ezinye indlovu zingazwela izibuko elimtshala maridili kuwela ipongo kuwela kuwela nesinga yengane usome kukambuduma ngena kalamaza ithanamana la engasima ekethe ngokuthanda umzibulo bupolepole ithanuzu zasakhile esiqongolweni sendrawo ipungutshe yekhethe ebuthuse ngiyakomamani ngeyakhamba izilile la isithi maye umzika baba ukhawukile kanti kwakungasikukhawuka kwakuhunyangeni ipungutshe yekhetha siyokhoselanga kuyambatha ngubo sayikhosela izizala zamaqiqimba kumahlango ngayingwesango
ngolonyani hingo yabo nomazumane yazuma kwaze kwasayizuma bekhabo akuzembeli gawula lihobelele akukamzeli gawula imithi liyaphuma mhla ikho inyama ikhona kwamahla
Wow. What an elaborate explanation. I love the horn also. Over to you, Mahlangu and Nkosiyami. Thank you very much. Just on top of the program, we might be breaking some protocols, I know, in terms of our tradition, but please forgive me. It's just for the broadcast purposes, and I know maybe we should have done other rituals and etc. But thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to be part of what's in this studio.
Ngithokoza kakhulu mntana wethu ngithokoza kakhulu awukaphuli namunye umthetho wangekosini awukaphuli namunye umthetho wobukhosini ukhambe ngendlela ingakho njoba ngikhamba nenkosi bongakhe wakhona ukuthoma ngayo bongekhe wakhona ukuthoma ngayo ngoba ikhamba nami
I could not have started talking to the king before I started talking to
fanele uthoma nje uthoma ngayo
ngikhamba kakuhle
ukhulu wamambala ukwamambala umsile khondlo mangitsho njalo ngithe ngamanye amagama ke ngamafitshane ngitshwela kubana njoba ngikhamba naye nje ngisisandla sakhe ngamanye kamagama amanye futhi amafitshane abanye bathi ngabalinqusa lakhe umsebenzi wami ukuthi nangikhamba
he is the right hand man to the king
ngimhlenge nangikhamba naye ngimqale ngakho konke angakho ukuthi uphephile na uhlengekile na manje ke ngesinduke ngeprotocol njengokutsho nje ngeheho lakhona uzokuthi wena na uthoma noma uhalela ukumlochisa uzokuthoma ngaho
angilotshise ke bakamhlanga uzongidlulisela ke ukulocha
futhi la kuwa kudinga interpreter ngoba yena kumAfrika senjalochisa ke babethu balo
umama wami ozalu bomalume nabomkhulu abazala umama kusho ukuthi ugogo ozala umama ngumvenda bombetsi but umkhulu yena uthi ngumndebele ilaba umzilikazi mayedlula la wadlula nabo ke bayophumela kwele kamgaba
abanye banande basala ngemva
nanzo so singosikosana ngesithakazi ngusikosana ke mina umfene ke mina
ngiyathokoza
umfene ke ngithi ngiyibike nami let me introduce myself so that we can start together. I want us maybe just for you to take us through the history. We don't have much time. We might have to organize maybe a better day when we can go through much more in detail the history of the Ndebele nation. Why did we, how did we end up being called the Ndebele nation? Isuka apeleto yakwaNdebele.
Nangu baba
uzakudlalela. Sitsho njalo siyandrondoza. Sikhulumako. Isitshaba samaNdebele kusitshaba esibuye Central Africa. Ngaphasi komhlanga wesizwe sabambo.
From Embo.
Yeah. Ukusuka ke Embo sasuka ke phambilini nezinchaba eziningi njengamahlubi izinchaba esasuka nazo sayokufikela
Hlubi are the Xhosas
amahlubi ngamahlubi
amahlubi ndiyabona Eastern Cape
namampondomse namampondo bonke labo
namazulu na singawashiyi
amazulu athi amanguni bazibiza ukuthi manguni bona abazibiza ukuthi babuya Embo kodwa na ke nawuqala umlando ubuyela nawe emuva uyasitshela ukuthi
the history of the Ndebeles as he is saying, the history of the Ndebeles, the history of the Pondos, the Pondomises, and some of the Xhosa tribes, including even the Swazi nation. There is no doubt, even the Xhosa nation maze becula ngempela bathi asibuyeleni kuphi
Embo
and kodwa bathi namazulu nawo mangayibika lento kahle ukuthi ubona yena uZulu usala ngubani uzothi kuba yonke indlela isiphindisela futhi ngamva
So we arrived at Jonono, where there's an area that's called Jononoscope next to Ladysmith. Lapho ke kunethuna lengwenyama King Jonono, who was laid there. But the king that we arrived with here in South Africa is Ndebele. That's why we are named after him. Yes.
Ngivabethi umhlanga uzalwa ngumnisi
ngizokulandela bona nje ke emva kuka Jonono
is the king that we know.
Yes, uJonono uzele unanasi wazala
Unanasi gave birth to Mafana.
Mafana moved from Jononoscope from Ladysmith area partly of in Natal where Mhlangeni, where it's Randfontein today.
He came to Mhlanga. Because when Mzilikazi was coming through, he came through Randfontein.
Same
he came
route.
through Randfontein actually.
Yes.
But Mhlake.
The king, the higher that was born in that area, his name was, he was named Umhlanga. Yes. Umhlanga wazala Umusi.
Then Umhlanga gave birth to Musi?
Yes. Then Umusi wazala Unzunza, wazala Umanala, wazala Masumbuga, Abosbasa of Venda, wazala Ngumusi.
Okay. So some of the vendors actually.
Some of the vendors are coming from us. Yes.
Coming from you
yes.
guys. Okay.
Yes. Then there was a split. Ndebele, Kanzunza left the Royal Crown, went east to Kwamsimkhulu, where it's Belfast today.
Belfast.
Yes,
okay.
Under King Nzunza. So I'm a descendant of King Nzunza.
You're a descendant of King Nzunza?
Yes.
I was just doing some brief reading in the afternoon. I bumped on Nyabeni, Nabotswane, Nabotswane, and then we were just trying to put all consolidation together. So I thought I would come and actually have some classroom to clarify actually when the white people came and they destroyed the Ndebele, because you guys in the Ndebele were one of the first uprising people who were actually fighting against apartheid.
Yes.
And Nyabela's name comes up there, and then the white people destroyed him, and then they reassigned and redistributed the royalty. And what happened in that part of the history there?
Yes, Nyabela is one of my freedom fighters who is an unsung hero. He fought Buhle government for 8 months. Out of all the wars that whites took against the black kingdoms, in history we don't have any war that took 8 months. Day and night.
That was
Nyabela
stood the ground.
Fought.
With spears and swords.
Fought. He was protecting King Mamburu of Mapedi. Yes.
Wow.
Walahla ubungwenyama bakhe nesizwe wathi isizwe sami nobungwenyama bami uMamburu ngeke bamthola bamfuna abavula amathumbu ngimgwenyile.
They were looking for the pedo,
yes.
And said, you cut my stomach.
Cut my stomach if you want.
You will find him inside me.
Find him. Yes.
Now that's Ubuntu. So imagine Ndebele going to fight the war of the Pedis. Now when you come back in modern times, do the Pedis respect the Ndebeles? If they understood the history from where and how the Ndebeles and the Pedis have a history where actually King Nyabela himself fought to protect the petty kingdoms.
We've got a beautiful relationship with Amapeti. Because after the war, our kings were arrested. Then the initiation school that took place after the war, they went through Amapedi kingdom. Yes.
Oh.
So we've got a very good relationship with them.
To date?
To date, yes. I wanted to clarify something about Ndebele Kamzilikazi. Ndebele Kamzilikazi, Mzilikazi came to Ndebele under the kingdom or the kingship of King Makotongo, the one that I'm named after.
Makotongo.
Yes, Makotongo. So he died.
But Mzilikazi was not a king.
He was not a king, he was a warrior.
He was a warrior.
He was
so
a
let's
warrior.
clarify, because by the time they get to Zimbabwe, they now want to start a kingdom.
Yes.
In Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And I'm saying, how does a warrior, now you are a right-hand man of the king,
because he was brave.
You go to war. You can go to war now.
Exactly.
You go in Chasela in Botswana.
Yes.
When you are there, then you want to make yourself your king. And your king is still here. The question is, how do you inaugurate yourself as a king when you are a right-hand man?
Yes.
And this has been my battle in the Ndebele nation. Because I've been saying to the whole Mtwakazi nation that I don't have a problem with you recognizing Mzilikazi as a chief. But for you now to begin to say you want to build a kingdom out of a warrior, well, I need to find out when was Mzilikazi inaugurated as a king. But then you're still taking me through the Ndebele coming through Okotongwe and...
So, King Makotongo, King Nyabela, he's a grandson of King Makotongo. King Nyabela...
I met Nyabela, by the way.
Where did you meet him?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I do my homework. No, Mahlangu, the big Mahlangu was in Mpumalanga. What's his name? The one who was in the police department.
No, I think that one, those, yes, are correct. But Amakama Oktielelo, Jengamji, King Makotongo died in 1827. So King Nyabela died 1904. 1904 after a very long time, after he spent a very long time in prison.
Okay.
Yes. So now
these are the stories we need to be reading in our history books.
Up to today, there is no building in Pretoria that is named after King Nyabela. Unfortunately, Asma's Utswane.
I mean, this is your territory.
Definitely.
This is your territory. Yes. I mean, when you are talking about Pretoria, Mhlanga, Witbank, that whole area, it's in Ndebele area.
Yes.
So I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting that Pretoria, as we have it now, actually was falling under the jurisdiction of your fathers.
Yes.
How can Pretoria be called Tshwane instead of me being called Godongwane? Or being called Makotongwan, or calling it Nyabela, or calling it whatever. Why would Tshwane be so prominent? Where does Tshwane come from?
I wish I can give you an answer to that question, but I don't have any background with Tshwane, because I tried to do some readings through some research, but when I check in, we don't have any prince or a king that was called Tshwane under Ndebele Kingdom.
Okay.
Yes. So
wow.
If Pretoria was named after Musi, that was fine, or Kwamnyamane, because there was yes,
that's the original name.
That's the original name.
So for some of you young students out there who want to know what is the capital city of South Africa, the political city is not Tshwane, it's not Pretoria. Here is the indigenous leader in that territory, and they are telling us that the correct name of Pretoria is Kwamnyamane. That is the correct ethnic name of Pretoria. So you politicians, stop running around with candles into the pool. You extinguish them. Go back to the real people and ask some of these things before you get excited. Hey, we're in Gauteng. Hey, we're in Pretoria. Hey, we're in Port St. John's. Hey, we're in Hartbeespoort. As if it's
Kwamnyamane. Yes. Ngicabanga ukuthi mntwana Nkosi kungaba kuhle ukuthi sithi la sihlezi khona kesihloniphe ingwenyama uMabhoko wesithathu sihloniphe nengwenyama uMakhosoke sitsho kanye sithi bayede ngwenyama lapha sibuswa khona thina sibuswa kwaNzunza ngaphasi kwengwenyama uMabhoko wesithathu his name after King Mabhoko of King Makotongo, the first Mabhoko who fought the British government, and he came number one on that war.
Okay.
Yes.
He won the battle.
He won the battle.
Okay.
Yes. So after winning the battle, Mabhoko made all the white people to pay rent and taxes on his land. Yes, to him. That is why his not his grandson. That's why King Nyabela, when he started a war with white, he was having a lot of ammunition, because those guys, they were not paying with kettles only, they were also paying with guns. Yes.
Gunpowder.
Gunpowder in the guns, yes.
Wow. You, being actually an heir on the throne, how are you keeping the nation together?
I'm not exactly the higher on the kingdom. I'm the prince on the sub chief of. That is called Nzunza Mthabi Somahlela.
Okay.
That is around the Brongo Strait. If you know Brongo Strait, yes, our great grandfathers are.
What is the original name of Brongo Strait? I'm very keen to.
Definitely, I want to come. The Brongo Strait currently, there is a name that they are using, but it's taken after an Indian man when he's trying to speak isiZulu. He will something like that. So they call Brongo Rugwamachinini, but that's not the original name. Because where I come from, it's in Afrikaans name it's Elansfontein, but in Ndebele name, the whole area is Umkobola. There's a big mountain that is called Umkobola.
And the whole region is named after.
Then the whole region is named after that mountain. Umkobola. Yes.
Umkobola.
Yes, the big river that goes near Umkobola, where King Makotongo died, is called Ikutu. Yes, Ikutu.
For me, these are critical historical benchmarks that you are giving us, so that in terms of naming our places, we actually need to be truthful. If we are going to be saying we are naming a place, it's one thing to constantly be praising the Europeans, another thing to actually change this language and make it relevant. You have an opportunity of speaking to the rest of Africa. There's an organization that I'm working with King Bungane called UKA, United Kingdoms of Africa. We want to put together all the African kings and have actually the governance systems of the states into the hands of the kings themselves. What will be your comment in terms of putting you as royalties in terms of running the political systems? Just in 1 minute exactly.
Let us maybe take out the word political. Let's talk about the governance and the leadership for the nation. Yes, that will be a very good opportunity, because the kingdoms are not the term leaders. They are permanent leaders. Goes generation to generation. If you can check some international countries, they still belong. They
still have their royalties.
Yeah, they still yes under their royalties. Yes. Swaziland is one of them. There's this
Britain also.
Arab.
Yes, United Emirates.
Yes, United Emirates. The same, yes, and they're doing very well under those kingdoms. Yes.
Well, final words before I can give him the final word. Then I can cut you off. What can you say to the African nation at large?
To the African nation at large.
Show us your shield there. Show us your shield there.
This shield.
That's for protecting the nation.
Actually, this is more about bringing happiness.
Okay.
And also preserving the status of a particular person, especially if it's like a king. He might not be allowed, or it might be not in a good respect for a king to move with his shield in the stick. So everything is his shield.
You are holding it for him?
I'm holding it for him.
So if you want him, we must cut your stomach.
Definitive. And then whatever you want to hear about the shield, its use, as I'm saying, is a shield for happiness. This is not for war. It's not meant strong for war. Indendele.
Okay.
Ngiyokuthamba.
Get it also as a music instrument.
Ngiyokuthamba. So if you listen in Swahili, musical instruments already.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where you got the musical instrument, those small ones.
This is like a shaker.
Yeah. Then you got it. So the way we ngako is the way you praise yourself, like the little girl was praising here.
Okay.
You see, but now I'm praising with us who better in the end. Mina njengami. Ngestatus samseporia ngizobe ngibetha indendele ngizithakazelo zami.
Okay. Awuyibethe kakuzivalele ke nento.
Sengithi nangu esibathi nangu
siphelo
umbomvu ngiyakoba khuluma ngayo
umbomvu ngiyakoba khuluma ngayo
umbomvu ngiyakoba khuluma ngayo now ulalele nje lenswahla amazila zikhamba ngerhythm yami ngani ngale mthakazelo zami zokuthanda.
Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot finish culture. I will bring Thando Mahlangu. I think I need to bring him back. And we might need to bring in maybe another 2 extra guests from the Greater Ndebele nation, and we can actually go through step by step. But I think they actually occupy a huge part of the South African platform here, and would want to know much more about their culture, much more. This is one of the most colorful tribes in the entire Southern Africa. You can see me today dressed up like Ndebele. And your host tonight is Maponga J. My guests have been the prince himself, Mahlangu, and his right-hand man, Thando Mahlangu, and the 2 ladies who will bring me the poem, and the young man who gave me some hat also. Me Maponga J chigaramboga mashamba huda chinichira na wana vanjiwoko vana chigarama kwematandana vora chikwe chitenza chinotedzera vari kuri vari pedo vanotamba nacho mutambo uri paruware Remit yasosve vachiri mangora navapfuri vayo tisivona chiramba kusesera na Mponango kubawa nemasha kumagaro chirera na vana vevanji Remit yasosve. Until we see you again, don't do what I wouldn't do. If you decide to do it better.
Aye.